Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and drop a like on this video. I am trying to hit 100k subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be much appreciated. Also drop a like on this video, it only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference. So I said at the end of the Lakers video that I just uploaded that I was probably going to be reacting to both of the games that were preceding it, which was Nuggets Blazers and Mavericks Clippers. But I had not taken into consideration the fact that the Nuggets were without Nikola Jokic. Sorry, not interested, so I just didn't watch. It was on in the background, wasn't really paying attention. I just had it on in case it was close for no reason. And it kind of was for stretches of the game, but the Blazers ended up figuring it out, and no thing worth talking about. Luckily, though, this Clippers Mavericks game ended up stepping up and allowing it to be a big enough of an interesting game to just cover a full video. So, got a few things to say about the Dallas Mavericks. First things first, and I'll talk about the crazy shit that happened to close this game. Starting to have a twinge of maybe I judged this team a little bit too early, and that's kind of the consensus that a lot of people have had. Now, they still have a lot of trouble beating good teams, so ultimately I think I would look at it as the Mavericks are probably just going to end up being around where they were last year and the year before, which it's not good that you're not making that progress, but I think the dire, oh, this team is going to be a play-in caliber team takes that I was definitely susceptible to initially in the season. Probably not really feeling that way at this point because of a few things. One, Luka, I feel like there's been more of a balance and less... the more Mavericks games I've seen, it's less like doing stuff without Luka. And the whole point of my video on the Mavericks was there's just simply too much stuff away from Luka Doncic on offense that's just like, you don't have the personnel for this. I feel like Jason Kidd figured this out, and as time goes on, it feels like Luka is more and more on ball as I see this team. So it's still not necessarily a great balance, but it's definitely much better than it was. And then Porzingis. Now, I will say, I feel like some people have overreacted to Porzingis and the way he's played as like saying like, oh yeah, he's back, or like, he's like the Knicks version of himself or whatever. Because if you look at it, his numbers are basically identical to last year. In fact, his three-point numbers are down a little bit. At least they were previous to this game. And yeah, that's fine. But I feel like people were expecting how he played in the Clippers series last year to be how he played for the rest of his career. And it's like, he obviously wasn't going to be that bad for the entirety of the rest of his career. It's just that he fumbled that drastically poorly when the playoffs came around. But Porzingis with 30 points in this game, got to the free throw line for 10 free throw attempts, which is a lot for him because he's not that physical of a player. And it's not anything that particularly different other than just a little bit more diversity in terms of the sets that are run for him. A lot of cuts, a lot of pick and rolls. He still ends up settling for mid-range jumpers all the time. Still takes the odd, like, why did you take that way too deep three-pointer? But overall, good stuff with Porzingis, and like he's still a 20-8 guy on relatively good efficiency who can stretch the floor, and when he plays the center position, just makes the Mavericks offense hard to guard because he's yet another guy out there. With him at center, there's another guy you can put out there who can shoot 40% from three, like a Maxi Kleber, who, by the way, fantastic playmaking night from him. Just in general, the ability that you get from Porzingis being able to stretch the floor, it's not like he's without value. It's just max contract, I don't know about that. Trading all the first round picks you did, I don't know about that. But with how he's been playing, with how Luka has been more involved on the ball, and overall, I'm much more positive about the Dallas Mavericks. Granted, I'm not going to give credit to Jason Kidd because he's Jason Kidd. Good game for Dorian Finney-Smith. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been struggling with his efficiency, and he's kind of always done that at moments of his career, but really ever since he's joined the Mavericks, he's been a lot better efficiency-wise. I'm actually curious what he is shooting on the season. Shot 20% from three in this game, and he is shooting 35%, which he's normally about a 39 to 40% three-point shooter. So it's not as bad as I thought, but it's definitely down a little bit. And on the call, someone said that he was like 8 for his last 38 3-point attempts. Anyways, so that's the Maverick side of things. Then we can talk about the Clippers. Good game for Paul George, good game from Reggie Jackson, though Reggie had some very weirdly embarrassing moments in this one. And then everybody else, it was kind of an even affair across the board, nothing that stood out too much in particular. Oh, I also should mention for the Mavericks that Jalen Brunson got hurt, and I hope that he is okay, because we stand Jalen Brunson in this household. But other than that, for the Clippers, you know, Marcus brought in 10, Zubats had 10, Eric Bledsoe existed on the floor. That's about all that he brings to the table typically. I always forget to say his first name. Is it Amir Coffee? I might be saying that wrong. He had a good game. He had a really big dunk. He's always someone that whenever I see him in the game, I'm like, he's not doing anything except for existing, but he actually did stuff in this game. I wonder, did Serge Ibaka get hurt? Because I can't see why he would play 6 minutes. I just realized that. I did see him early on in the game. I guess he got hurt and I missed it. Anyways, so let's talk about how this game ended. It was a shocking overtime appearance because I believe it was a 6-point game with like 30 seconds left, something like that. The play before, Reggie Jackson threw an awful turnover. Mavericks go down. There's a stop or something that made it their ball again. And it was like, wait a minute. Is there hope that this can actually happen? Let me actually go to the play-by-play just to make sure that I get every aspect of this correct. Because I always do this shit where I'm trying to remember it after the fact and I get details wrong because my memory is garbage. It should be better for this being what I do. But, okay. Let me recount this properly. So it's a 5-point game with 33 seconds left. Luka misses a shot. And then that's when Reggie throws that awful turnover. Okay, there's a jump ball. I don't remember how that happened. Okay, but okay. 14 seconds left and it's a 5-point game. Then there is the Reggie Jackson 3-point shot, which makes it a 2-point game. Kleba goes to the free throw line and makes 1 of 2. And then Paul George out of the corner with 1.3 seconds left. Quickly catches it, quickly does a step back, puts up the 3-pointer. The ball was off of the tip of his finger with 0.1 seconds left on the clock. Nothing but bottoms. So it was a 5-point game with 10 seconds on the clock. Win to overtime. So that's just fantastic. That is very, that's like out of a movie script, right? Then they proceed to score 1 point in overtime. So, little anticlimactic. Reggie Jackson, as I said, good game overall. Hit a huge 3-pointer. But he also had 2 wedgies, which if you don't know what a wedgie is, it's when you go for a layup and it gets stuck in the rim. Had 2 of those in overtime. I don't even know how you do that. That's just hilarious. But yeah, there was just a lid on the basket for the Clippers and the Mavericks. Their offense was fine in the overtime. They scored 9 points in 5 minutes, which is whatever. But it didn't matter that their offense wasn't particularly great because it didn't need to be because the Clippers couldn't fucking score. So, very anticlimactic after going into overtime like that. I always hate when that happens, when it's just some dramatic movie magic shit and then the team just ends up laying an egg in the overtime. But yeah, these teams are always so dramatic when they play, and I appreciate that. You can almost always expect a good game when the Clippers and the Mavericks match up, and it's nice to see the Mavericks look better, and it was nice to see that shot even though it didn't end up mattering. Reggie Jackson's probably going to unfairly get clowned on a ton for this game. People are calling him Wedgie Jackson, but he had a 30-10 game. Also, he did get an offensive rebound on that shot that he hit, so that's also worthy of note. But, that's my thoughts on the game. There's nothing that outstanding. I don't think there's too many overarching points about either of these teams. I guess I just made them with the Mavericks. But for the Clippers overall, they've just kind of been weathering the storm and remaining a solid NBA team without Kawhi Leonard, but nothing spectacular. And that's pretty much what we that's pretty much what we all expected the Clippers to be. So, not a big deal. I don't know where I'm going with this. That's the end of the video. Bye.